There it is, my favorite. So that's my commander. He's well in charge there on the right. So that's me. I think I was probably taking a nap. We're at Kuwait. We're getting ready to go and deploy and drive all the way from Kuwait. Now, the funniest part is they only fed us like one hot meal a day, and we had to stand in line for like 4 hours to get food. It was miserable. I was like, just give me an MRE and I'll eat that. So that's what we were doing there. There's a couple other photos of me in a lot of combat gear, but there's one I want to highlight. You'll see one, if you didn't notice, there's me and a guy named Sergeant Major Greca. At the time, Sergeant Major Greca, and we're both in combat uniform, we were in Taji. So in 2014, we reopened Iraq. We left Iraq in 12. We go back in 14. And we're standing there, and we're trying to reopen this base. And we found out there was a whole bunch of people on the base, and we could just contract it. We had to pay for, I don't know, HESCOs and Taji twice. We paid for it to build it the first time, and then we went back in 14. We had to do it again right there. Now, we were old combat vets by that time, and as we're driving to this picture, there was a rocket that came in. And you've got two of the most experienced combat people in the Army at the time. We're standing there, and we're like, we're good. They're like, a rocket came in. It's like, we're fine. It was way off base. It was training. We're good. And we tell everybody, get back to training. We go outside, and we start talking to them. The Iraqi was a little bit freaked out by that. But we'd seen too many rockets at that point. It's probably a stupid thing to do, but we were literally standing outside 5 minutes after a rocket attack trying to talk to them about how to do manned training and equip the Iraqi Army. At the time, he was the CENTCOM CSM. Okay, so there it is. It's perfect 30-minute talk about warfighting. And now I say there are no questions out of bounds. Anything you want to talk about, from sergeant majors of the Army down to private, I will answer it. If I don't like your questions, I'll just go, hey, I'm not answering that. But I would say the harder the question, the better.
We'll now open it up for questions, both in the room and from our remote sites, who can submit via email to col@dla.mil or scanning the QR code on the screen. For those in the audience, if you have a question, please raise your hand and a member of the staff will bring you a microphone.
Okay, great presentation. Okay, I'm out.
Got two up here?
No, okay.
Hey, sir, Darryl Roberts, J6. SMA, how do you see the training and equipment of soldiers in the future with all data, digital technology, and things that are available to you now from a warfighting perspective? How do you see that playing out in the future?
I would say, I would say at the basis of what we do, some of the things are still going to play. You know, we're still going to wear a uniform, and I want the best protection as light as I can get that. That's from a soldier perspective, and then I'll work a little bit out. And that comes into play. So as we man, train, and equip and do these things, is that I want the lightest equipment that I can for the soldier, and because we're just overweight, right? If you look at the IVAS, you look at anything the Army was trying to procure, they just like, oh, but it's only so many ounces. Yeah, but you've added 15,000 ounces. So we really do have to fundamentally make ourselves lighter. And the battlefield will be much more lethal than what we've ever seen. I mean, if you just, you can look at what we've done in Ukraine, and you can see how deadly that is. So we have to protect ourselves. But we can't protect ourselves so much that we have to be wrapped in bubble wrap. I'll give you an old story and then talk about a little bit of the future. The old story was me, and it was bad. It's like, hey, I was in Iraq, tour number whatever, and they go, put these big plates on the outside of your door. So I had an up-armored vehicle and then another plate on the outside of that, and I took it off. And then, you know, I got PEO soldier, somebody probably from DC yelling at me, can't believe you're not protecting your soldiers. It's like, okay. So I go down the street in Iraq, and my vehicle doesn't fit. And oh, by the way, when I opened the door, it broke the hinges and my door fell off. This is true. Like, literally, my door fell off. Like, me, the battalion sergeant major, my door just flung open, like, knocked out a water stand or something. And I'm like, we had to go pay for that. So fast forward, it's like we can wrap ourselves in all these things that you can't move, you can't drive, you're not mobile. Okay, in the future, you have to be lighter, you got to be faster, you got to be more mobile, but I just told you it's going to be more lethal. That's really what we have to figure out. And I said this 4 years ago as the Sergeant Major Army, and it's really playing out now. It's like I said, literally, a conversation I had with the Chief of Staff of the Army, I said, the IED of the future is the drones. I mean, we watched it, 25 bucks and a hand grenade, and the thing's flying over the gate in Taji. Boom. And then now they're getting even more sophisticated. So things are just going to come at the future for people, and we've got to figure out how we're going to man and equip that and protect ourselves. And I just can't imagine how you're going to get supplies in such a contested area. Because the biggest thing that I had, especially a lot of times with infantry units, is my favorite thing. They come out of the woods, hey man, you got some water? Yeah, I got some water, I got a truck. That's why I carry water. And they couldn't carry enough water. So the battlefield is more lethal. So we are gonna have to protect ourselves individually and then have to grow that out. And I think in the future, it's gonna be more complex and more lethal. I mean, the weapons are stronger, they're